Hello again everyone, welcome back to the channel, and to something of a Halloween special. For nearly 4 centuries, Britain was one of Rome's most remote provinces, which was home to soldiers and settlers and ancient peoples whose lives were intertwined at the edge of the empire. The Romans left their mark everywhere, in the roads, in the walls, in the cities. And in many of these places, the Roman presence lingers in a way that defies explanation. All across the UK, people tell stories of Roman soldiers marching through cellars, or the sound of applause at long since disused Roman theatres, or the sight of Roman legionaries still at their posts 2,000 years later. These are the ghosts of Roman Britain. Before we begin, I should point out that I don't personally believe in ghosts. I've always been a bit of a skeptic on these sorts of things. But naturally, the stories of the ghosts of Roman Britain caught my attention, not just because of the eerie ghostly details, but also because they intersect with real Roman history. Ancient ruins, Roman roads, military and civic buildings, they all form the backdrop of these stories. So it's a fascinating way of exploring folklore and history. So in that spirit, let's dive in. Our first ghost story takes us to York in 1953, where apprentice plumber Harry Martindale was in the cellar of the treasurer's house. Now, whilst he was down there, he started to hear the sound of a distant trumpet that was getting steadily louder and louder, until a Roman soldier made his way through the wall in front of him, followed by a cart horse and a whole column of Roman troops. According to Harry Martindale, he froze as these soldiers marched through the wall, only visible from the knee upwards, as if they were marching on a road buried deep beneath the cellar floor. He talks about how they were wearing greenish tunics and had round shields and daggers on their right-hand side. Their look was weary, and their movements were slow and silent. Terrified, Martindale fell from his ladder and hid in a corner of the room until the apparition had passed. He then fled the house and refused to return for weeks. And over the years, he never changed his story, and apparently never accepted any payments for telling it. Later excavations at the treasurer's house revealed that the house stands above one of the main Roman roads leading out of Eboracum, Roman York, the Via Deciumana. Martindale's account, which was initially thrown out as fantasy, was later found to be describing 4th century Roman auxiliary soldiers, not information that was readily available at the time. And archaeologists have found that his description of the Roman soldiers matches archaeological finds. Today, the Treasurer's House is a Grade 1 listed building run by the National Trust, very near York Minster, and in its cellars is the base of a Roman column, left during restoration of the house in the 20th century. You can go and visit the house, you can even go and visit the cellar where Martindale's vision began. The next stop on our tour is Hadrian's Wall, where there's a plethora of Roman ghost sightings, but I'm going to focus on one in particular, Mile Castle 42, where, in daylight, people have claimed to see a Roman soldier, spear in hand, still guarding the frontier. And just to add a little bit of pizzazz to this particular story, he's not at eye level. No, supposedly he's meant to be levitating above the ground at the height of the wall. Apparently, this particular Roman soldier is meant to be called Lucius, and the story behind him is supposed to be that he fell in love with a native Briton. But that native Briton had only gotten close to him so that she could get vital patrol information to give to her brother. And when said brother was captured by the Romans, Lucius had to commit suicide. Obviously, I question the validity of this particular ghost story, but what it does highlight for me is the importance of ancient Roman remains on British folklore. But for now, let's move on. The Chichester Inn, a 16th century coaching inn located near Novio Magus Reginorum, modern-day Chichester, is home to one of southern England's most enduring ghost sightings. Regulars to the inn describe a Roman centurion marching around the bar or near the entrance, fully clad in lorica segmentata with a crested helmet and also carrying himself with the unmistakable look of someone in command. Witnesses describe how they can only see the top half of the Roman centurion, the rest of him being deep where the Roman surface used to be. In this respect, his ghost is very similar to the ghosts of York's treasurer's house. This particular apparition seems to move with purpose, as if he's still inspecting the city's defences. In fact, one witness seems to have seen him stop, tilt his head, listen as if there were danger, before carrying on with his silent patrol. Historically speaking, the Chichester Inn is located near the west gate of Novio Magus Reginorum, and excavations of the area have discovered Roman roads, a forum, bathhouse, city walls, all within walking distance of the inn. And the modern street level is indeed much higher than the Roman level, which would explain why you could only see this much of the Roman centurion. So whether or not this centurion is a figment of the imagination or something real, what it does show us is how there's so much of the Roman world right beneath our feet. Our next stop is Verulamium, modern-day St Albans, which I covered in a video recently. You can find that somewhere up there. But for now, let's look at its ghostly story. Apparently, in the ruins of the Roman theatre, some visitors have heard the sounds of applause or murmurings and movements in the seats. Some have claimed to see translucent figures sitting in the tiered seating, whilst others say that they see shadowy figures moving along the stage where the performers once stood. Now, I won't linger on the history of this particular site, as I have already covered that, as I say in my previous video. But what it does show is the enduring vitality of the Romans in Britain. This particular theatre could seat up to 2,000 people, and it also shows that the ghosts of Roman Britain aren't just soldiers. Our final stop takes us to Chester, where in the ruins of the amphitheatre many people have claimed to see Roman soldiers still patrolling. According to one story, a Roman soldier fell in love with a Celtic woman, abandoned his place on the wall in order to be with her, but then when her family discovered the relationship, they killed him, along with many other Roman soldiers in the town. According to legend, this particular Roman soldier still patrols between Newgate and the amphitheatre, as penance for abandoning his post. Historically speaking, Chester was known as Diva Victrix and was home for a very long time to the 20th Legion Valeria Victrix. So from Eboracum to Chichester, from north to south, the ghosts of Roman Britain prove to us that history lingers not only in ruins, but in memory. But thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe, it helps immensely. And if you have any particular ghostly comments to make, please make sure I can find those below. And I'll see you on the next one. Ciao for now.